What's good, everybody? It's your favorite fantasy football ump, the Guchinni, representing the Hard to Start podcast. And we back with another banger for the 2026 fantasy football offseason. And we still holding ourselves accountable for what we was talking about in them fantasy football streets last year. But before we get into the content, I need you to go ahead and like, hype, subscribe, and comment, man. And if you're really trying to help the Hard to Start podcast community grow, share this to your league mates, man. But before we get into the content, let's go ahead and run the intro.
You have now access to complicated production.
Loose as hell in that bitch.
Dookie guns, all types
Motherfucking that
of
bitch.
shit.
What? Glock Dookies in that bitch. Motherfucker, pull up on your ass with a Glock Dookie. Rob
Okay,
you.
Dookie
Glock
7.
Dookie in front of the grave. Toothpaste. That bitch got shit in it. Piss in.
I thought I was King Arthur demanding another entry to another running back one finish and got hit with the Glock Dookie on this Take My G's. Going into the 2025 season, Alvin Kamara looked like one of the safest running backs in the early rounds. With the running back 9 finish in 2024, Brody had 89 targets. Let's pull it up. 89 targets, leading all running backs on a 21.5% target share. First at the position, with a snap share of a 73.1%, a opportunity share of 76.4%, 288 rushing attempts, 68 receptions, 905 yards, which averages out to 67.9, with 543 receiving yards, which averages out to 38.8. Brody was hitting for almost 100 combined yards per game, y'all, with 8 total touchdowns scored and an explosive rating of 111.2 with 10 breakaway runs with a 5-yard per touch. OG was still getting his work, still the target king in 2024. So you see why Brody was on my radar going into 2025. One of the safest running back picks, especially in the second round because of them targets. But then we got to talk about his new OC and what he did last year, bruh, and leading up to him getting a head coaching job. Excuse me. And in 2025, head coach Kellen Moore did the same ish he did in Philadelphia in 2024 when he had a historic run from a running back, a Super Bowl run, which they capitalized on 100%. Shout out to them. Shout out to my dog, the Ignorant Thinkers podcast. But look, he had Saquon, and we seen Saquon hit for a 2,000 combined yard season. I want to say it was rookie year. He had only 43 targets. Kenneth Gainwell, which he had about 74 receptions to be exact last year, so we know what he can get jiggy with in the receiving game, only had 22. But then we go to 2023 with the Chargers. Shout out to my dog, Ear to the Streets. We have Austin Eckler. He is part of the fantasy football community. 74 targets on 51 receptions. And then let's go back to where it started at. We them boys. Shout out to them Cowboys, man. 2019, Zeke had 71 of them. Followed it up the following year with 71 again. Boom. Then had 65. Then Tony Pasta in that same season had 46. So we had over 100 targets between two running backs. And then the following year, Zeke with 23 and Tony Pasta with 55. It's like, look, bro. Early in his OC days, he was feeding the rock to the running backs in the PPR game, bro. And then when he get to Philly, bro, he completely switched it up. And this was Alvin Kamara's first season held under 50 targets, y'all. Bro had 767 of them in his 9-year career. Kellen Moore completely switched up his style for the PPR backs from early in his OC days. All them backs ate in the receiving game, 100%. You know what I mean? And that's what's so crazy, bro. But then also check out how he was also fizzling Brad out. Let's pull this up. Let me see if this will work. No, that ain't gonna work. So you see it right here from weeks 1 through 4, 5 through 8, 9 through 12, because OG did go out with an injury week 12, 100%. We're going to talk about that too, y'all. But look, so for head coach Kellen Moore to let Alvin Kamara get half of his total production in the first 4 games, 65 attempts, 15 targets, and 13 receptions, but also fizzle out Alvin week by week by giving Kendre Miller rushing attempts from weeks 1 through 6, and tearing his ACL in week 7, 100%. And we all know, per usual in the fantasy football community, that Kendre Miller has spent a lot of his time on the IR, and them is facts. So let's pull it up right here. We're gonna watch how Alvin Kamara gave us some back in weeks 1 through 2, gave us back-to-back RB2 finishes, and we're just gonna talk about the game log between him and his backfield mate. So week 1, he had 11 carries with 2 receptions, 13 total touches. Week 2, 21 and 6, so 27 touches. Week 3, 18 with 1 reception, 19 total. Then in week 4, we follow it up with 15 carries and 4 receptions, 19 total touches. Then we go for Kendre, week 1, 5 attempts. Week 2, 5 attempts. Week 3, 7 attempts. Week 4, 11 attempts. Week 5, 10 attempts. Week 6, 8 attempts. You see right there that my OG was getting fizzled out 100%. Now we're gonna get into the total target breakdown for each pass catcher in New Orleans. Watch this, y'all. And like I said, per usual, Kendre tears his ACL, but we just seen how Coach Kellen Moore was giving Brad touches. And then enter week 8, here comes Tyler Shuck. From weeks 8 through 18, Brody had he had nothing less than 20 attempts, and his highest attempts was 49. My G was out there slanging that rock to everyone but the target king. Shows targets, receptions, and yards to Kamara from weeks 8 through 12 was only 10 targets, 8 receptions, and 63 yards. I told y'all, bro, the first 4 weeks, Brody did all of his damage or half of his damage on the season, bro. 100%. But then let's look at this, bro. And this is really going to break it down right here. The context is right here in this last graphic. As we look at the target breakdown for the Saints, only 2 pass catchers ate all year. The third most targeted pass catcher on the team got traded at the deadline. Well, come on now, what kind of stuff is that? Kellen Moore completely poo-pooed on my take by me locking in Alvin Kamara's receiving role and not taking account for how Saquon Barkley was being used in Kellen's system in 2024. And using that for my analysis on Alvin's usage and with Kendre getting touches and then getting hurt. 100%. Look at this, y'all. Chris Olave. Shout out to Olave for finally booming for us in the community, man. 100%. 156 of them with 100 receptions. Jawan Johnson, 102 with 77 receptions. Rashid Shaheed, Super Bowl winning Rashid Shaheed. Traded at week 8. 66 targets, bro. 100%. Then we got my dog, Big Act 41 with 39 and 33. And he played 12 games. So how is that even feasible? 100%, y'all. And then Chris Olave and Tyler Shows saying we are the future now. 100%. And that's what it shows right there. We just broke it down why Kamara was getting fizzled out. And he signed a $24 million a 2-year, $24 million contract last year, $19 million guaranteed, and then you bring in ETN, the writing on the wall, bro. I should have seen that last year, but I don't know how. He wasn't using like that. You know what I mean? It's crazy. The first 2 weeks of the season, we had back-to-back running back 2 finishes, and then Coach Kellen Moore did his best Bob Barker impersonation and said, "Come on down, Alvin Kamara to play the cliffhanger game," and Brody completely fell off that cliffhanger, and it was a wrap. Flush this tape down the toilet, my G's, and let me hit y'all with this. On my mama. Cold world.
Really? Really? I am just a figment of your imagination. Damn, what a good.
Dealership and found a car we liked, and then we proceeded to rent it. So here's us destroying the car.
I called Javonte Williams a 1 year Hertz rental car, and where I'm from, we dog them joints and send them back to the rental car place. But Javonte turned that into a 2026 Ferrari F80, aka them foreign cars in the Hard to Start podcast. That's what we call them running backs, them RB1s, man, 100%. Everyone last year saw going into 2025, everyone saw running back 30 finish in 2024 and said, buddy is fried. To me, I said he got action at a bounce back year. Javonte signed a 1 year, $3 million deal in 2025 offseason, and then boom that into a 3 year, $24 million contract. And you see it right here, bro. That's what you get for being a bounce back shawty. 100%, 3 years, $24 million, and then just 12 months before that, Brody only signed a 1 year deal. 100%. Shout out to Javonte. But here's why I projected the bounce back year, y'all. Let's talk about this offensive line, man. Dallas completely rebuilt their offensive line quietly over the last few years. Tyler Booker was the 12th overall pick in 2025. Tyler Smith was the 24th. Tyler Smith was a 24th overall pick in 2022. Terrence Steele, an undrafted free agent in 2020. Cooper Beebe, a third-round pick in 2024, and Tyler Guyton, the 29th overall pick in 2024. Man, shout out to Uncle Jerry for putting together the law firm of Tyler, and Tyler with their partners, Beebe and Steele. 100%, man. And you see why one of the reasons I had a Javonte on my radar. 100%. And we're going to talk about the efficiency and why it was ugly in 2024. But look at this offensive line right here, man. A fresh start always helps. Let me take myself off the screen, but you see it right there. 14 games started for Booker, 16 for Smith, 17 for Steele. BB only played 11, and Guyton only played 10. And that's kind of part of the reason why they PPF grades is kind of low. 100%, but this is a damn good wall for Javonte to be behind. 100%, man. I see you, Uncle Jerry, man, and that's what we want is that wall. And then also why I had him on my radar is because I felt like there was no competition in the backfield. You had Miles Sanders, who they also brought in on a 1 year deal, and then they took Jaden Blue, I want to say in the fifth round of 2025's draft. So in translation to me, hey, no competition in the backfield. I said that Javonte was going to be the first one to get the crack at being the lead dog. And that's what he did. He snatched that opportunity and did the dash, my G's. But let's pull up the side-by-side of my dog, Javonte, and what he did in 2024 and compare it to 2025, y'all. Let's see if this blocks anything, y'all. Okay, all this blocking out is the games played in 2025. Okay, let's get it. Let's pull up Javonte's production and metrics from 2024 and 2025 and give you a visual of why I called this in 2025. Yes, in 24, the efficiency was ugly. 3.7 yards per carry, only 27 evaded tackles, and only 4 breakaway runs. Brody couldn't get loose for ish in the run game in 24. But in the PPR game, he did his thing. Top 5 in targets, top 6 in receptions, and that's what we be targeting when we draft in these late round running backs, y'all. 100%. Our goal is not to spin the bag on multiple foreigns in the early rounds, and that's because we want to find these ghetto golds, what we call where I'm from, 100%, these gems in the later round. And so look, like I said, in 2024, the efficiency was not there. 3.7 yards per carry, only 513 yards on 139 attempts, and he played in all 17 games in 2024. But he had 70 targets on 52 receptions. So that shows that part of the reason why he was on my radar based on the targets and the receptions. Then we get to 2025 efficiency. Boom, back off 100%. 252 carries, 1,200 yards on a 4.8 yard per carry, bro, with 13 breakaway runs. Brody was getting loose 100%. One of the reasons why he boomed for us last year. Then 2025 happened, and Javonte went crazy. 252 attempts, an RB12 finish at the end of the season, 4.8 yards per carry, 68.8% snap share, and 13 total touchdowns with 63 evaded tackles, 13 breakaway runs with 101.2 explosive rating, aka bounce back shorty, 100%. And if you go back and watch last year's video pertaining to this topic, this specific player, here's what the fella projected, man. 200 plus attempts, RB2 upside, efficiency will rebound, and he will be the big dog on the block all year. 100%. I said that, man. Y'all make sure y'all go watch last year's video, dog. Oh, my mama. Okay, and then let's get into where the fella, what I got right. But I got to keep it a stat, my G's. This is how we get down over here, and I got to admit where I was right. Dallas offensive line handled their business. Javonte, they allowed him to get them breakaway runs and the volume and efficiency with no competition in the RB room. 100%. That's what we definitely said in the last video, y'all. But we gotta be able to keep it real where we was wrong at. Look, I said that Javonte was gonna eat in the PPR game, and he showing the head didn't. And I'm gonna show y'all why. My take, the only reason why my take didn't hit 100%. And here we go, right here. 3 pass catchers with over 100 targets, y'all. George Pickens, 137 with 93 receptions. Jerry Payne, CD, missing like 5 games, 6 games, still hit for 117 with 75 receptions. Shout out to Jake Ferguson, man, with 102 targets with 82 receptions. 3 players over 100 targets, and then you got Ryan Flanor. I forgot Brody's last name. With 56 of them, he might be somebody, a late round sleeper going into this year's draft. And then my boy Javonte with only 51 of them. So yeah, that's the only reason why the take didn't hit. On my mama. Then I definitely projected over. I didn't project over double-digit TDs from my boy 13 to be exact. I undersold my dog ceiling. Forget a RB2 finish. Brody hit for the RB12 with minimal draft capital in last year's draft, y'all. 100%. Javonte turned that 1-year rental into a garage with a foreign car. Coach Brian Schottenheimer said, "This is your backfield. You earned it." So the lesson I learned for 2026, my Jesus, when you got a talented running back who finds his way to a team that prioritizes their offensive line with no threat in the running back room, don't be too smart to draft a talented. Don't be too smart to draft the running back. Let the talent get turned up to the max, y'all. 100%. Shout out to Javonte Williams for making this take come alive, man.
Reunited, and it feels so good.
The viral moment I was hoping for during this reunion between DeAndre Swift and head coach Ben Johnson didn't happen. But the ratings, aka ROI, paid off in 2025 drafts. Let's talk about it, my G's. Coming into the 2025 season, DeAndre Swift was the RB19 with 295 combined touches, and then the and then to reunite with his old offensive coordinator in Ben Johnson with a system that he is familiar to. Chicago upgraded their offensive line and only brought in a 7th-round rookie who I believe to be no threat in the running back room. But more on that later, bro. Let's pull up this 2020, what my boy DeAndre Swift got jiggy with in 2025 because his production role was locked in. Brody had a 58.2% snap share, 19th at the position, a 61.3% opportunity share, 223 rushing attempts, 19th at the position, 41 red zone touches while scoring 10 total touchdowns, 15th at the position. Brody's role was definitely locked in, 100%. Then let's pull up his efficiency. 4.8 true yards per carry, 5.4 yards per touch, 112.6 explosive rating on top of 12 breakaway runs. Oh my goodness. That offensive line that Ben Johnson put together before he added Loveland and my boy LB Luther Burden. He like, look, man, I gotta go get me 2 guards in the center, and shout out to Dahlman for retirement, hanging it up. You know what I mean? Walk away when you can on your accord, not when they say you got to 100%. But yeah, look at his efficiency. I'm loving that. 100%. But we gotta keep it a stack, man. And where I was wrong at, bro. I overhyped the viral moment of the reunion. I was hoping for them 70 targets, y'all, on a 15% target share, what Swift had back in 2022 when him and Ben Johnson was in Detroit. But we got to break down the Chicago's leading target getters, because this is also why this is the reason why he did not hit that RB1 finish, aka that viral moment. Oh, we got 2 of me, my bad. That viral moment, man, aka them targets. Let's talk about the Chicago Bears pass catchers target breakdown. We gonna oh no, first we gotta pull up, my bad, y'all, getting a little ahead of myself. We gotta pull up the side by side of the 7th round pick. And what I said, no competition, no comp. One of the hardest mixtapes ever. Shout out to my dog Fab, 100%, and that's good. We can do that. Kyle Manunga, 169 attempts, 783 yards, rushing yards, and 4.6 yards per carry. Getting busy, only 30 targets, so he did not take away from DeAndre Swift's targets. And then we see DeAndre Swift, 223 attempts. That's 400 combined, if not just a tad hair under it, with 1,087 yards. They almost had a 2,000-yard season combined then, with 4.9 yards per carry and 48 targets. That's a dual committee, man. Shout out to Bart and Keep the Sneak, man, 100%, man. No, excuse me, Adrian, man, and Keep the Seat. Excuse me, man, 100%. So yeah, man. Hey, I love the running back room over there, but yet, like I said, I was hoping for that viral moment. Then we're gonna talk about the Chicago's pass catchers and the target breakdown. Romo Dempsey was the leading target getter over here in the Chicago offense. Brody missed 12 games and still hit for 90 targets, the leading getter. Then you got DJ Moore, who's coming in a future video, y'all. Still holding ourselves accountable, and he gonna be in the video. DJ Moore, 85 targets. Leveling, 82 targets. Three people with 3 pass catchers with over 80 targets. Then you got Olamide with 65. LB, Luther Burden, 2nd round pick, 60 of them. Then Swift with the 48 and Komet with the 48. You had four pass catchers with nothing less than 60, and 2 of them who almost hit 50 targets, 100%. That's the reason right there it did not hit, y'all. Oh my mama. And with Chicago, and Chicago was having a multitude of weapons, and Caleb Williams out here giving every pass catcher in the offense opportunities to eat. Manunga getting touches is what hurts Swift chances to crack that RB1 territory, y'all. Here's what I learned in this process. Coaching reunions are not guaranteed production. Past usage does not equal future volume. If your upside depends on targets, them joints better be locked in, or you're cooked. You better run it up with touchdowns, 100%. And that's one of the reasons why I said DeAndre Swift And these late round running backs, if y'all seeing all three of these players in this video, we had target upside in all of them, even though Alvin Kamara had the highest draft capital. But you see where I was going with this on top of what the offensive line had done in two out of these three players, 100%. So then, you know, we can't predict touchdowns, so we're not worried about them touchdowns, but them in these late round running backs. Early round running backs with them foreigns, you know, they role is definitely locked in. Most of them don't got no real threat behind them 100%, so they going to get all the work. These late round running backs, mid round running backs, usually they're in a timeshare 100%, so we trying to target the PPR backs because we can't rely on touchdowns 100%. So it says them touchdowns is highly unpredictable, and that's why I look for mid to late round PPR backs. DeAndre was a good pick for us last year in drafts, but he just didn't get the league winning finish that I hope for 100%. Y'all, I appreciate y'all if you stuck around to the end of this video, man. We're going to run it back with the 3 must-draft wide receivers that I had y'all taking last year. And, you know, we're going to continue to make this Hard to Start podcast community to grow. Make sure y'all tune in for the live on Thursday night for the first round of the draft. We will be covering all 3 rounds live, 100%. Shout out to my GWN brothers. And we're going to end it on this, y'all. Y'all know my saying. In fantasy, if you ain't got the heart to start, you ain't got the nuts of a champion, y'all. That's what we putting up. And in life, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. And that's why your boy Heart to Start JD is here to help you get ready for your 2026 fantasy football drafts, because we bringing home more chips like we did last year, y'all. Salute.